We opened up the website. We did $1 million in 6 months. I am not doing hair. I'm not doing hair. Same with hair. I see issues. I cannot help myself. I am trying to fix that issue no matter what, and it just bothers me. I'll go left, right, up, down until I get it right.
You get it.
And then you wake up and you don't realize it's coming out, because when you go to comb it the next day, that hair goes right to the brush. You know, in the beginning, they'd be like, well, is that the same person? Wigs are tearing, snatching out edges, the lace wigs. And now that they know that that's why their hair is messed up, it's like, oh no, now I need to get, it's like iron is huge for your body. We can grow our hair. It's a very emotional thing.
Hey there, GenCare family. Welcome to the GenCare Podcast. Welcome back to the Care Den. That's all about navigating the wild world of generational care. I'm Leslie Deans Bryant, your host, a well-traveler of this wellness journey that we call life. We're diving deep into the world of hair care today. And trust me, it's not just about split ends anymore. We've got an amazing guest today. We're here with Tonya Thompson, not only my AKA line sister, but she's also a hair guru. If you're into hair care, and who isn't, you probably know her as the co-owner and co-genius behind Dream Girls Hair Care. But today, we're digging deeper than just great hair days. Tonya's going to take us on a ride, not just in the beauty world, but trust me, it's more than just shampoos and style. We're talking self-esteem, wellness, hair care, and most importantly, just personal care, making sure that you look good every day when you wake up and look in that mirror. So if you look good, you'll feel even better, and no matter what your age is. So that being said, let's dive in. From kitchen experience as a kid to building a brand that grown women can feel great about themselves, Tonya's story is not just about passion, also about purpose and the power of good hair care every day. But here's the kicker. We're not just talking beauty. We're diving into how Tonya's work has been a game changer for families, especially in the Black community. So get ready to rethink everything you thought you knew about hair care. It's not just about looking good. It's about feeling good, loving yourself, and just being who you are every day when you step outside. Confidence is throughout every generation, and this is what Tonya's going to share with us today. So grab your comfiest chair, grab your favorite hair mask. Hopefully it's Dream Girls hair product, of course, and get ready to just listen as we go on the impact of hair care on mental health and self-esteem. Everyone, let's meet Tonya Thompson. She's not just a visionary of a hair care product, but you guys, this is my line sister. This is my sorority sister, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. This is also, we were probably 6 degrees separated in life. We have so many mutual friends prior to becoming sorority sisters, and we ran in the same circle, but we never got a chance to hang out as much until the last 10 years or so. We have become really good, not just sorority sisters, but friends. And this is something that I really want to bring her on, not just because she's changing the game in this hair care world, but because this is a powerful Black woman in the community throughout the United States. And I just really, really wanted to share how she has made healthy hair care okay. You don't have to do all these other tactics in your hair, but if you do, make sure you just have the proper products. So this is Tonya Thompson. Welcome to the Care Den, Tonya.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tonya is the co-founder of Dream Girls Hair Care. Share with me how you really got started. I just remember during COVID, I knew about you, of course, but I remember during COVID, the world was completely shut down, and you were one of the people who truly was not within 30 days. You just took off, was completely all over IG, and I looked at it, it seemed as if it was overnight, but I remember, so I was like, oh my God, this is my sorority sister.
If we rewind back, we've been in the hair care business since, I want to say 2000, I think we started in 2006.
Correct.
So that's when we actually opened up the salons. But prior to that, I was kitchen doing hair in college. That was how I made my extra money. When I was in high school, I did everyone's hair. And I brought my sister in as an assistant because I was doing all the proms, all the everything.
Okay.
So, and that's how I kind of taught her. But we started back then, but I never wanted to get into hair.
Okay.
It was just a hobby. So, and one of the reasons was because there was a stigma against that. I was supposed to go to college. I was
Correct.
supposed to, graduate. I was supposed to go into the corporate world and all of that. So hair was just a hobby and it wasn't an option.
Okay.
So when I graduated from college, I went into corporate, did very well in corporate sales. And then I started getting into flipping property. I
Right.
graduated from college with the twins. I had
Right.
twins. They were in my stomach. I walked across stage with them in my stomach. And I basically hit the ground running in the corporate world and did very well. So by the time they were two, I wanted to buy a house. So that's how I got into flipping property and all of
Okay.
that. And then also motivated by my kids, I opened up a school, preschool through
And I
sixth
do
grade.
remember
Yes,
that, and it was
yes.
very successful.
Yes, we had 2 schools. I did that for 17 years.
Yes.
So anyways, my sister came behind me. She followed my footsteps to a degree. So she went to college, went into the corporate world, started selling, and then did hair on the side, and then
Okay.
realized she was making more money with hair on the side.
Yes.
So she got into it. She did an apprenticeship, got her license, all that good stuff. And then she started doing hair. While I was doing my thing out here with the school, she lives in Sacramento. I was doing my thing out here with the school and flipping properties and that whole world. So she came to me later on because she started selling hair. And we actually started as a importing company
Right,
to
right.
sell hair. So because she was doing hair, she started selling hair. She was like, Tonya, we need to start selling hair. I have a connect and blah, 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 blah. We went from there. So we opened up a location here in Inglewood
Okay.
and just started selling hair. We were doing all the shows. We were traveling, going to conferences, and just putting our hair out there. So what happened was she had a little salon out there. She had opened up her own out there, just a one person, and she
Right.
was selling hair out there. And I opened up one in Inglewood selling hair. I'm still doing my school thing. I'm still doing my flipping property and all of that. And then I opened this up, and we, from there, I said, well, what better way to sell hair than to have somebody doing the hair to show how the hair is? So then we brought in someone to do that. So it was a one person that was kind of like next to the checkout area that did hair. So we had that person there. They did hair. We got even bigger. This is before hair was like a big thing selling.
Right.
We were like back in the days when all the like Giovanni's and all of them had first started. So I mean, where they had been around, but we didn't have all the Asian
Right.
companies in. So we did that for a while. So then once that person was doing hair, we brought more people in. At that point, I was not doing hair. I had no intentions of doing hair. I was just running the business, and me and my sister was doing this together. And then we opened up some more. I took another portion of the building and we opened up a salon and had people in there. Moving forward, we ended up moving from that location to another location because we ended up getting rid of the main stylist.
Okay.
And my sister was like, you should just do an apprenticeship. You never know. I was like, I am not doing hair. I'm not doing hair. She was like, just did it and just, get the. And then there came a time when I had to. So I jumped in, ground. And I was running. And then, I remember my very first weave. I feel like it took me about 8 hours to do that.
Wow.
Weave. And I'm an experimental person. So I'm a fixer. So when people ask me, what is it that you have? When I tell them I have a school or I tell them the things that I'm doing, they think everything relates to hair. But when I looked at everything that I do, I was like, I'm actually a fixer because taking properties in distress, I like to see them in distress and then see them afterwards. Like, oh my God, This is what we did. Kids that can't read or have issues coming in, it's like an incubator situation. And then you see them like, oh my God, they're 3 years old and they're reading, and then same with hair. I see issues. I cannot help myself. I am trying to fix that issue no matter what. And it just bothers me. I'll go left, right, up, down until I get it right.
Until you get it right.
So that's kind of like how we came into this whole healthy hair care program because I was posting and I had this whole thing about, this whole thing about people saying, oh, if you wear weaves, you're a chicken head or you don't have no hair, or our whole little community. It was just like a whole little bad vibe. So when I started posting, I was really posting to let people know, look, this lady's been wearing a weave for 12 months. We've been doing this and look, she has hair.
Yeah.
So one of the posts that I did she had a leave out that had color on it that it wasn't as long as the rest of her hair. So when I showed her hair long and that hair was hanging over, oh my God, the natural hair community tore me up. but it went kind of like viral a little
Yeah.
bit. It was the good and the bad. So people started calling me, and after I had said that she had been wearing a weave for 18 months off and on, people was calling to make an appointment saying, I want to be in the 18-month program.
And so
In fact, I want to do a 24-month program. And I'm like, program? What you talking about, program, you know? And I was like, light bulb.
And that's where the program.
That's where the Healthy Hair program came from.
Wow.
And then I went out and trained everybody in the Sacramento location.
Yes.
And we started here. And, you know, I had got my license and all
it takes
of that,
about
and
6 months to a year to get an appointment. So, because that's how booked and busy you are. But, you know, not like that. You can just get on. You have to just stick to it. And I'm working on it.
Yeah,
so,
I've been trying to get her in for a minute. But that's how, the Healthy Hair program had been in existence for some time prior to the product line.
Right.
So we were traveling. We went to New York every 3 months because we had people all over the place that wanted us. And some people couldn't afford to travel in. So we would go to New York every 3 months so people close would come in. We were packed every single time. We went to Atlanta. So we were like, we need to just put our products together so that people outside of LA California can still benefit. And what happened was we started that process long before COVID. It just happened to hit. We were supposed to do our big launch in that March. And COVID hit and we were like, oh my God. You know, we had one set up for Sacramento, one for Los Angeles. And we kind of all went in a panic. We were like, what are we going to do? And then we realized, oh my God, this is not ending. Because at first we thought, okay, pandemic, like this is going to last about a week. It did not. So I was like, look, we do a soft launch now. We opened up the website. We did $1 million in 6 months.
Yes. And I mean, and congratulations, because I remember it so vividly. And you were completely sold out. I just was lucky to kind of know you so that but I ordered multiple products and then made sure that and I still use the products, even when I swear to God, I do. I literally do. I love the ginseng, the mask the most for me. I think, let it sit on it, because if I have braids in my hair, you know, I'm a ponytail queen. I wear my own hair, but I always still make sure, and it's like, it's great product. So how has your background helped you not only just pivot, but capitalize on, once we had COVID, for you to make the money that you made, but not only just make the money, but really just put the product out there and make the awareness?
Well, one of the things is I do realize when I did graduate from college and I went into corporate sales, I feel like that really did help me in general, because we did real training. I worked for Lanier Worldwide and I was one of their top sales reps, but it wasn't on purpose. It's only if I believe in something, I can sell it. I can't do like the sleazy.
I understand.
Yeah. But if I believe in something, it's just a natural energy. And even with my school, I had 80 something students from April to September. And I had never opened up a school before, but my energy and what I feel about what I'm doing and my passion just moves over to the next person. And that's the same way with hair. So I think because we had the Healthy Hair program, and I am so like honest with what I do, and I don't like people to think that I'm lying, that we started the whole thing with taking before pictures, after pictures, being very as authentic as we possibly could, putting pictures in the client's phone. Because when you see that your hair is growing, I'm not lying to you, and you see the same thing. So we're on this. I'm not just posting anybody's pictures. So I think that kind of led to what we were, why we did so well, because it wasn't one of those things where we were kind of sketchy. You know, in the beginning, they'd be like, well, is that the same person? And, you know, you get all that, especially on social media.
You do.
So I think people have learned to trust us over the years because we are so authentic with how we do things, and even in the salon. So I think that's one of the reasons why it took off. And then my sister went into marketing and sales too, as she was following behind. And we just kind of have that energy that kind of pushed things. I don't know if there was anything in particular that said 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right.
I think it was just kind of a natural thing.
You and your sister really feed off of each other.
Yeah.
How many years apart are you two?
5, exactly.
Me and my sister's 5 years apart.
Our birthdays are 1 day apart.
Correct. And I remember when we were celebrating your 50th birthday. And so I think what's so unique about your partnership is you genuinely like each other. Working with family is extremely hard. And then it's just like, I have a sister, she's 5 years different from me, and she's older. And she always say, I'm the big sister because I'm the hustler, the businesswoman, and everything.
Yeah.
She makes a lot of money, but she's not taking any risk.
Yeah.
She's very overly conservative. Whereas I know with your sister and both of you, your connection, you guys really feed off of each other. You trust one another, and you make the decisions in a sense together without it overlapping. You don't just go and do, even though I think you are the leader because you're the big sister.
Yeah.
But even your brothers, I think you're still the big sister in
Yeah.
everyone's family, because that's, like you say, you're the fixer. So that's just who you are.
Yeah.
So that's always a good thing, especially in business. Now, let's pivot a little bit and talk about what's the difference that you see, especially from Generation Z to even the baby boomers, because I see the elderly that's in your chair as well, the difference of how they take care of their hair, possibly because I think the elderly was wearing pieces, clip-ins, not even clip-ins, like glue-ins is what I would say back in the day, which was definitely probably damaging their hair. And then this new Generation Z, even in the millennials, they wear the hair a little different because they wear wigs and different things. So what have you seen as far as the type of care and the difference when they come and sit in your chair?
Well, I think now, I feel like somewhat we've revolutionized the with us feeling like we can grow our hair. It's a very emotional thing.
Yes.
With our community. I get so many women that cry in the chair, and a lot of people that blame it on their parents, which, it could be the baby boomers or whoever that may have been doing their ponytails too tight or putting relaxers in their hair, and it just didn't go right. So there's a lot of blaming, and people just don't understand their hair. And I think we've been doing a good job at helping them to really understand their hair, especially when they do consultations with us, just helping them to understand it's not as complicated as you think it is.
Right.
And a lot and then with social media now, it's just people just want to do what they see. They don't, they're not looking at filters and how things are going on, and they don't know what happened 2 weeks after they put that style in, and the whole going into the salon and or getting your hair done without washing it, and but I feel like we've been bringing back the healthy hair thing,
and edges.
Yes.
You've been bringing back edges.
Well, I think we have a lot of people in the industry now that I've never seen it before the way it is now, at least being shown on social media, where people are now trying to be more into health.
Yes.
So they're now, I think, washing hair.
Which is scary that no one's washing their hair before doing it. But it happens.
I think most of the things with our community, I think we just don't understand. And once I thoroughly explain to them what's going on with their particular hair and why we have issues, some of it is underlying health issues too, that they just don't understand. And I've been doing this so long that I can literally touch your hair and know you have low iron, or, oh gosh, your protein is off, or, and then that with something like that, no matter what I do in the chair or what treatment we give you, you're still going to have issues. So some people don't understand that when they're trying to get into this healthy hair journey, and they think it's just topical, and it's not always
internal.
Just topical. We got to fix the inside, and then the outside, we can move from there.
So I guess one of the things is, what's one of the most alarming trend that you've noticed in today's beauty? But industry regarding hair health, but may not quite be accurate, I think, mainly.
Trend. Well, regarding hair health, I've seen some things where people they don't need to trim their ends, or people are scared to trim their. Black folks are scared to trim their ends. Yes. I don't understand it.
So they think if you don't trim your hair will grow.
Yeah, stop letting these stylists cut on your hair. They're jealous. You hear that? What, jealous? Right. Okay. But, and I don't know how some people are, but they just don't understand. That's a huge part. Our whole system is really about growth and retention.
Right.
You can be growing your hair, but not have retention. And our community exchanges that for growth. My hair's not growing. So there's a whole lot to it, meaning you have to trim your ends and keep them right in order to retain the length that you're bringing in. So I think that's the biggest myth. I don't need to trim.
Yes.
They want to see those little strands. They don't care.
And it doesn't work.
It's
It
like,
doesn't.
I don't care how long your hair is. If I see through all the way to the bottom, that means nothing. Your hair can look more longer and more healthy, cut shorter at a full point, where everything is kind of full.
Okay, so can you share a moment when you realized a hair care product was a negative impact on people's hair? And it's like a popular hair product. Can you share a time? And it may have caused hair loss, unhealthy hair. And we're being very candid.
I think that...
and they may not even be in...
There's a whole community for relaxers, but...
Yes.
And I'm not saying that relaxers don't work for some people, because a lot of things depend on your hair strands and how strong they are. You have some people that can get by with anything because their hair is just made like that.
Yes.
It's set up like that. The diameter of their strands is like thick and everything is just good.
Yes.
And they can probably wear a relaxer a little bit easier, but I think that the relaxer error is one of the things that stop people from being able to retain length. But again, some people are good with it, but if you don't know how to treat it and you don't know what you're doing, your hair can totally break off.
So Tonya, you mentioned to me about there's a myth that if you wear a weave, then you're like a chicken head. And it's no secret, anyone who knows me, my hair is down the middle of my back, and I literally have a protective hairstyle in my hair now. And I never felt that my hair, let me say this, and you know me, it took a long time for me to actually even put a weave in my hair in the last year or so. Yeah. I've always been very natural. I'll ponytail my hair to death if that was the case, if someone couldn't flat iron it properly for me. And I've been in healthy hair care for a long time. I've always liked it. So that was the thing, oxygen treatments, making sure your scalp is clean. So can you share with me as far as some of the treatments that you would do regarding it? And even just, let's talk a little bit about, this is a myth. This is your hair. You're not a chicken head just because you have a weave in your head.
Well, so that, like I said, back then, I feel like we've come out of it somewhat now since I first started. When I first started, it just made me so mad that I just wanted to debunk everything. So that's why I was on there. Look, she's wearing a weave. Like, I wanted people to be proud. If you want to wear a weave, then be proud of that weave.
Right.
Like, this is what you have going on, instead of trying to, people like, oh no, it's my hair. Like, people never wanted people to know that they had any type of extensions.
Correct.
In.
I had tons
now it's like proud. When the day that people are wearing wigs now and it's okay, young girls, like, that was always meant for older women.
Yeah, but some of them do look like old women.
Wigs.
Okay,
so, but
some of them we gotta let go of. I'm sorry, you guys. Some of them we do have to let go of because they're hideous, even down to the gray hair. Like, what is going on? And I mean, I'm 51 and I have a couple of little grays, nothing major.
Yeah.
But I'm confused. Why do you want to look 75?
Well, the fact that they even do it, the whole lace front thing and all of that, and being young, some are better than others. But the fact that they even think about doing, there was never even a thought when I was young.
You are correct.
Like, you go into your grandma's closet and be like, there go the wigs,
You played in them.
Yeah.
Like to mock your grandparents.
Exactly.
Or something.
So back then, that was when we started this. That was not it. So the whole thing was to be proud of who you are and what you're doing, and you don't have to sit back. And
the confidence.
Exactly. And then the fact that if we are growing your hair, like, I wear weaves, but I know that I can take my hair out and I'm good. So it's having that confidence, like, I'm wearing this as an option, not because I have to. And that's where we wanted everybody to get to that place. Like, I even had a woman that was in my salon once, and she had kids that were 20-something years old. And we were putting a weave, she was going through the process, and she thought her husband had pulled up in the front. She was like, oh my God, there's such and such. I was like, who was? She was like, oh, he's never seen me with my hair.
And her husband, oh my God.
Her husband. It turned out it wasn't him, but that just
shows you that your self-esteem and self-care, you're hiding in your own home in the bathroom or somewhere.
Yes.
And that's scary. And we want to change that. I agree with you. Yes.
I want to get around that, make people feel confident about their hair, help them to understand that they can. And healthy hair is not just about long hair.
Correct.
It's whatever you want. So I'll always ask, what are you trying to do? What length are you trying to get to? Or some people will just say, I just want my hair healthy. Some will say, I want, they come in, I want knee length.
I want to
like,
the
okay,
knee. Hook
your
me
wish
up. I
is
want
my
it by
command.
next
You
week.
know what I mean? So it's all about what you want and whatever you feel more confident in. Even if you're cutting it short,
And some people have to do the big chop. I've seen you do the videos.
Yes.
If you want healthy hair, then you have to be
Yes.
open to cutting
Yes.
your hair
Yes.
in order to have the healthy hair.
Exactly.
Because I see that. What's your thoughts on the wigs with the lace fronts once they take them out?
So
do you do wigs at all?
we do. We do wig braid ups.
Okay.
And we do have someone that does a healthy way of doing
That's what I was
wigs.
asking. Okay.
So I think that wigs are snatching out edges, the lace wigs, if they're done
wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So I think some people they're just so in the moment of what they look like and what it's going to look like that they could care less about the impact that it has on their hair. So, making sure you need to make sure it's above the hairline, that you're using products that aren't snatching your hair out, and you're not just getting frustrated when you're taking it out and just snatching it.
Properly removed,
exactly,
like you say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm not against it. It's just you just need to make sure that it's done properly,
so that they are actually properly trained.
Yep.
To whoever installs the wig and not Instagram taught.
That part.
Yes. Okay. Understand. I understand. So there's a misconception of that only women of color, mainly Black women, wear weaves or wigs. Would you agree, like with your, I know you have multiracial clientele. So do you feel that is a myth or a fact?
No, that's a myth.
Okay.
When I first started, I did Asian, I did Hispanic, I did white.
Yes.
White. So they love to get the strand by strand, but their hair was
considered the tape ends.
This was before the tape ends.
Okay.
So one of the big misconceptions is that their hair is tore up, like when they're doing that. They have so many short pieces, but I don't know if they care as much about or back then they didn't care as much about the healthcare. It's the same way we are. We just throwing weaves in, and everybody looks at the aftermath of what it looks like after you finish, and not really
a healthy
what the
aspect.
So no, and to be honest, we're starting trims for them.
Correct.
They never sewed in tracks before, or
I know, and I'm seeing
now
that
they're wearing
a lot.
the wigs now, the lace front wigs, and doing the closures, like all these things. They're like as if it's brand new, but we've been doing this. We kind of started a trend for them because they do have a lot of hair issues. A lot of times their density level is lower, their strands are finer, so they do a lot, and sometimes we don't think it. We just assume because
their hair is naturally long because they're not Black.
No, they're wearing extensions, and there's some that have naturally thick hair too.
Right.
So, no, we are definitely not the only ones.
Okay.
We're not the only ones.
I want to go back to something else you said. You mentioned about when we were talking about healthy hair, and how important is a diet? Because a lot of the hair care world is, like you said, you can touch it, their protein level, their iron.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so when you're talking to your particular client and you notice like your iron is low, you need vitamin D. Do you give them like a dietary regimen as well? Because I guess the saying is you are what you eat.
Yeah.
So, of course, if you're eating bad foods, the older you get, and it usually impacts your hair, skin, and nails the fastest before, meaning the outer part of it. So you can see that the fastest that you like, something's going on with me.
Yeah.
If you're in tune with your body. So like, do you usually give them a regimen or something?
I do. I try not, there's a fine line between being a doctor and knowing what you know.
Correct.
I've told people to check on things that they've gone to the doctor and the doctor never even told them.
Okay.
And it was beyond just their hair. It was other health issues because now, why are you learning this in the salon?
Correct. So it's more advice because you're not
I'm not a doctor,
correct.
but I've been doing this.
It's long enough so you know.
And
the symptoms and the signs.
I definitely do. And I would say 99% of the time, I am absolutely right. And some of those changes that we make are, I have suggested things that I do that I'll tell them that I do, or or vitamins that I take and things to get things up that they would go ahead and take too. And we do see results after the 3 months when they come back in. So, iron is big.
Yes.
I don't think I did a post about iron and what your hair looks like. What are the signs and symptoms of having low iron? And you'd be amazed of the comments that were on there on how people knew they had low iron, but now that they know that's why their hair is messed up, it's like, oh no, now I need to it's like iron is huge for your body, period.
Your blood flow, everything.
Yeah,
it
just
really
how you
is, yes.
feel, just everything.
Circulation. You are correct.
So, but there's a lot of us that have low iron, and I don't know if doctors emphasize on some of these things. Vitamin D, I don't think doctors trip as much on vitamin D because their famous line is, oh, everyone's low on vitamin D. Vitamin D is huge.
It's huge. It is, and it's not just going outside in the sun.
Yes.
It is literally. I do take vitamin D3. Been taking it for a while, but I think I get my blood work done every year, and a lot of people do not.
Yeah, no.
They don't go to the doctor. They don't get their blood checked. And it could be something as little, like you said, as iron. And it is important.
And being low on those things can lead to other health issues.
Yes.
But so that's huge because low iron really does reflect in your hair. Like it becomes brittle. It becomes lightweight, airy. You know, where you don't feel like your hair has any substance anymore. Like
not full.
Once when you pulled your hands through, it felt full, like your strands were there. Now it feels like
you can blow it.
Exactly. And you can mistake that for low protein too. Low protein definitely is a type of feel, but that comes from that normally clients that I know that have low protein, it normally comes from like losing weight quickly. Because you start lacking in protein and your hair is built of protein, so it starts to pull from your hair first.
Right.
But the number one has always been iron.
Wow.
It's huge. So and it doesn't allow you to retain length either because
it's stunning your growth.
It just as you comb through, it just breaks. It becomes brittle. It's too light. And sometimes I can tell how bad their iron is, how low it is, based on how much thickness they have from root to end, and how there's just so many things. There's so many things. But yeah, health is a big deal because there's really nothing I can do for you if that part isn't taken care of.
Can you share a quick hair care tip that can help boost self-esteem and confidence, but also improve hair health?
I wear a silk or satin scarf every night. That to me, that helps with a lot of things. One is if you're, it helps you from not rubbing your hair on, if you don't have a silk pillowcase.
Correct.
Rubbing it on the cotton and drying it out, especially if your hair is back like this. What happens when you're laying? It'll break off. So that kind of protects you from that.
That's a good tip.
Yeah.
And I'll share it because a lot of people don't realize I always wear silk scarf as well, and I have a pillowcase too. But they don't realize I'm a ponytail queen, and I know that.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't realize you're moving all about. You just broke your hair off all over here, and you're confused.
Yep.
But it's the cotton pillowcase.
It's the cotton.
That's an excellent tip.
Just pulls moisture out. So when you're moving around, and depending on how much you're moving, and say you go to bed and your hair is in a tight ponytail, or you shouldn't even be having the tight ponytails, but and then you wake up and you don't realize it's coming out because when you go to comb it the next day, that hair goes right into the brush. So not until you blow dry it is when you start seeing all these short pieces. Also, another one is ponytails. When you're wearing a ponytail, I don't know if you've ever seen women that they may have a ponytail in and they're missing hair back here or super thin. That's from wearing tight ponytails, and you know that they're fanatic and kind of like OCD about ponytails. And if they're really OCD, it can go from here and the sides. Wow. So most of the time I see the back, but then you can do the sides too. And what happens is when you put your hair in a ponytail, you need to make sure you can move your hair in every direction without feeling that little
I have
prickly,
a ponytail, but I can still move.
Sometimes you'll just feel little pieces and you think it's okay. You should always be able to move your hair in every direction without feeling like a piece is pulling. And I think that they feel like those one at a time is not a big deal, but it starts to add up and you look up and you have no hair.
Yes.
And that's called traction alopecia.
Wow. Okay.
And it's harder to get back. And another big tip is if you do feel like your hair is coming out from traction, whether it be braid, weave, ponytails, you need to start to treat that immediately, because the longer you take, the
worse
less
it
likely you're going to be able to get that hair back. So don't just wait. Some people lose hair from braids, and you'll lose a little bit, but then you're like, oh, it just grew. I hear this all the time. Oh, it grew right back. But what you're not realizing, some of it grew back. So then you move that to another area, you lose more hair. And you're like, oh, some of it grew back. And then all of a sudden, those braids start to hit where the hair that's not growing back hits all in one space. Wow. And then you're like, I don't know what happened this time. But no, this has been happening every single time. And now it's just all meeting up in the same spot. And now you have traction alopecia.
Excuse me, but hair is really like a plant. You have to water it and nurture it and really take care of it if you want to keep it. So I always use my analogy when it comes to like my hair is my favorite plant is the money tree, because someone has to gift it to you. Someone has to, and you have to nurture it. So if you don't nurture it, then it won't grow.
It will not grow.
But if you do nurture it, it will grow. And that's one of the things that I do. I always like to, I don't go to the salons a lot to have my hair washed, because I have tons of family members who did a lot of celebrity hair. My aunts grew up, almost everybody on the cover of Ebony magazine. I'm originally from Chicago, so she did almost everybody's hair. And the newscasters on WGN9 at the time. And I just remember deep conditioning, putting a little plastic cap on your head and sitting there. And she's like, you have to take care of your hair. You have to always, she's like, you don't pull it from the comb. You start from the bottom. So when I see so much of the people, when they say they're healthy hair care gurus, I'm like, you are. There was another person, a dear friend of mine. She ended up getting lupus, so she can't do hair anymore.
Got it.
But she was very into serious hair care that she wouldn't even take people who had prior weaves because her hair was so ate up. And she without a consultation like we need to have this conversation. If you're not serious about it, then we can't move forward.
No, that is exactly right. If you're not serious, if you're not here and we are on this, then I always just say, what are we doing?
And you heard her say a 18, 24-month journey. That's part of the reason why I haven't joined her journey. Well, and I have long hair, but that's not it. I do want to sit in that chair. And I know she can do my hair, and it's not even that. It's more like, okay, I don't like to even have a weave in my hair longer than 30 days, honestly, because I have that fear of my hair is going to fall out when I take the braids down, when you take the takedown. So I think that's my personal fear. But I see your work. People have their weaves in literally for 3 months. They do have to come in, get their hair shampooed, washed, and do everything. They have to follow the regimen. But I see it. But it's a myth in my head, 3 months, are you kidding me? I'm not going to have any hair by the time we take out. So this has just been past amazing. What role do you think beauty entrepreneurs like yourself really play a role in like giving out misinformation? Not stating that that's something you do, but what role, how important is that role? Especially with social media right now, like how important is that role of giving out wrong information regarding the healthier hair care practices?
Well, I think it's a huge role because, like you said, people are on social media, they're on YouTube, and people are kind of giving their journeys, but everyone's journey is not the same. So what happens is they'll see one person is using something in particular for their particular hair, that may or may not even be making their hair grow. Their hair just could be, you know what I mean?
But it could be getting paid for it. It could be an ad, but we may not know.
So then I get so many people that come in and they're like, that's the YouTube Bible. Oh, well, I saw that, da-da-da-da-da. Oh, I did, and it's just like, I think we do have a responsibility. And one of the things with us is that I've done every single hair texture, hair type that you can think of. And I'm not into the 4C, 4B and all of that stuff.
I've never heard you say that. You are correct.
I do not. Sometimes I'll try to help relate to them with it because that's how they've come. But I'm not into that. But I've done every type of hair. And there's some commonalities that come along with hair in general. And like you said, treating your hair and just loving on it. And my sister always says your hair is a canvas. So
I love that.
You have to treat it accordingly. Everyone's canvas can be different. So you have to know how to treat your particular canvas. I can give you the normal
The
steps.
blueprint.
Exactly. So, but some things are off and on depending on, and that we do virtual consultations and things like that. But our experience, I think one of the big things with us is that we are actually in there doing it. We're
Correct.
doing this every day.
Right.
We're not,
versus just selling the products.
Exactly.
And you
exactly.
actually, you use the products, you see the products and you know
we
what
know
works
exactly
and don't work.
what it takes. We know we do this. This is what we do. We've done thousands on thousands and thousands of heads, and we do plenty of heads a day. So some people do a lot of heads, but I don't think they've experienced the depth of the different types of hair that we've been
Correct.
in and how we've been able to make it work.
Correct.
And make the hair grow. So yeah, I think that you do have to be accountable for the information, but a lot of people are doing things for clicks and doing things for money. And a lot of people are jumping on healthy hair care. We've seen a lot of copycats out there, but they really don't know. And I think that they think that we're making money. So this is what I need to jump on to make money. So they'll use like the white cake now and all these things that we've been doing just to give that illusion. Cause now they see that's what people want and they really don't know what they're doing.
No, because they didn't do the research. They didn't do their homework. They're what's it called? Instagram University, TikTok University. So yes.
And our research came through our hands.
Yes, I was gonna say it was research. Right.
In it.
And you saw what worked, what didn't work, and go from there.
And aside from that, just me being a fixer. So, knowing that, okay, I've done this on this person. Why is this not working? We're gonna try this.
Right.
Okay. That didn't work. We're going to try that.
Right.
That's just how I am. I'm not just going to be like, it's over. I'm sorry. You're just not going to have no hair. That's not my thing. Okay.
And that shows us how important your job is, honestly. And how important how you feel, honestly, about the healthy hair care world. Because it's important. I mean, I'm totally about healthy hair care. Hair care, necessity or luxury? Is hair care a necessity or a luxury?
Oh, it's a necessity.
Okay, got it. Trendy hair products or traditional remedies?
Traditional remedies.
Okay. Biggest hair care myth that you have debunked?
That we can't grow our hair long.
Love it. One word to describe the current state of the beauty industry?
In chaos.
I like that. I like that. Best advice for someone experiencing unexpected hair loss?
Check with your doctor.
Okay.
Because there could be more things outside of just you coming in for treatments. It could be things like lupus or some type of autoimmune issue that, and I'm normally I ask a lot of questions, but these are all things that contribute to hair loss.
Thank you. And that's an excellent. Thank you, because I know two friends that was what was wrong with them. Mm-hmm. So, favorite traditional hair care ingredient?
Ooh. There's so many. I do like anything that stimulates the scalp, from peppermint.
I was going to say tinginess.
Yeah, and our products, we have a whole revamp coming with.
Okay.
We're advancing our products even more, adding more things. It should happen hopefully in the top of the year.
Okay.
But we're excited about that. So even more of the tingling.
Yes,
more
I was saying, your shampoo, everything is peppermint-y, ginseng.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. Everything is there.
Yes.
Even if you think it's not working, it's working.
Yes.
Because you can feel it.
Yes. You know what? I've also had a big problem with when people come into the salon. You hear them chatting. I've had a couple of people think that because I'm light skinned,
your hair is supposed to be long.
I can show pictures of my hair from back in the days. Until I figured it out, I did not know, or they don't think I know.
I was hoping you kind of said that, and I'm not.
I just thought about it. I'm like,
because I'm dark skinned. They never thought my hair was real. She got clips in. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, there's no way.
My friend the same way. Her hair is really fine and beautiful, and they used to say that about her. Like, I don't know. That's a whole debunking thing.
Yeah.
You'll see people saying something on the phone with their people like, oh yeah, I think they can do hair, because they'll look at my team, and my team right now happens to be fair skinned right now at the moment, but it's not always like that. But it's so weird.
I'm not looking at what nobody.
It's so weird how people think. And then my sister and I, we're both fair skinned, but our hair textures are totally different.
Right. It is.
It's totally different. So it's like, that's a debunk. That needs to be talked about.
So, Tonya, as we wrap up, it is time for you to leave your own personal gem in our beautiful gem box. So my next guest or another guest will grab your gem and read it for the next episode. So my request is that I ask each guest to write their own gem and just an insight of some type of insight, a quote, or something of wisdom that you would like to leave behind in the Care Den for my next guest. So I'm going to hand you the pen, then you can reach in and grab a paper.
Oh. This is a hair gem, you said? Or
you
just
can
a
leave
gem
whatever gem. It could be whatever gem you would like to leave behind.
Okay. So this is something I've been saying for years and years and years, even when I do speaking events and encouraging people and entrepreneurs in life.
Yes.
Don't procrastinate, just do it. That's period. Just do it and stop thinking about it. That's my big thing.
And I'm going to share this, and she doesn't know I'm going to say this. However, I had the honor of witnessing her 50th birthday. That she hand-selected her friends and family members, not to hand-select her family members, but her friends who she wanted to come celebrate her 50th birthday. And everything was super beautiful. And I need y'all to hear this. The table says everything was wonderful. And it stormed like no other on this day. Yes. And I mean, I'm talking about, it was draped and it was gorgeous. Everything was just gorgeous. And you would have thought you were at the top of the hill. You would have thought that we were at just an amazing, someplace up at the Beverly Hills or New York, honestly. And everybody, I was in awe of everything that everyone said about her. But most importantly, everybody said they wouldn't have had anything if it wasn't for her saying, what are you waiting on? Just do it, just do it. And I remember I was like talking to her about something. I was like, oh, the business is draining me. Doing this. She was like, but you have a business, so just do it. She was like, you're good. And I didn't even correlate that. I think I was more relatable to you because that's who I am. Mm-hmm. And for the first time, I told Tonya this, and I don't even want to cry about that. I'm being serious. She was the first person for me who I didn't grow up with that I could relate to, that poured into me the way I pour into so many people. And it was just such a blessing. And even when I called her for this, she was like, all right, sis, whatever you need. She didn't even ask a question, just called back like, hey, I need to know, what are we doing exactly, what I need to do. And I just remember like her energy was so magnetic. And I had been shifting. And we were talking about, like, I was on the fence, like, oh, should I buy my new car? Should I do certain things? And she was like, what are you waiting? And no, she didn't say anything to me. Your sister. Everybody started talking about, I went and bought it. I went and do this. She was like, you go work hard for it. She was like, who cares what people think? Who cares what people think about you? And I'm in a space right now that I feel like if I have good things or I do things, I feel like people think I'm bragging. But then I have people saying, oh, thank you for inspiring me. Yeah. And that whole room was a room of people being grateful. It was a day of gratitude, but the whole room was people being grateful and thankful. And I remember leaving there saying, I got to go get me some extra friends or something. I don't know, but I want to be in the rooms like that where that people, your friends don't think you're bragging. And they honored you just as a sister, as a mother, as a boss, as an entrepreneur, as a friend, as a cousin. Everyone, it was just so amazing without it being like any jealousy. And if it was on the side or whatever, but they didn't display that. And that to me was like amazing. So I'm proud of you. Thank you for even coming on
any day
with short notice. And this was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cheers. And then I'm going to hug you.
Oh, love you.
Love you, sis. Love you.
Oh, Is this for me or for you?
It's for you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being my
This
guest.
is so cute. I can't wait to put this in a vase.
Yes. Pink flowers, of course, for AKA, and sunflowers for the
yes.
friendship and the sistership.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Wow, what a day. I don't know about you guys. I'm looking at my hairbrush in a whole new light. Huge thank you to Tonya Thompson, co-founder of Dream Girls Hair, for dropping some pearls and wisdom for us today regarding some healthy hair care. As we wrap up, I challenge everyone to not just look into healthy hair care, but also read the ingredients on those labels of those products that you're putting into your hair. Your hair is your jewel, it's your crown. So you want to make sure that you're providing the best care to your hair for what works for your body. Remember, in a world of quick fixes and miracles, promises sometimes the best solution is just to slow down, take a deep breath, and look at what you're doing so that you can get the best care that you deserve. If anyone is feeling inspired to learn more about my fabulous guest, Tonya Thompson, you can connect with Tonya on Instagram and TikTok. Her handles for both social media platforms are at Hair by Tonya, Tonya spelled Tonya, and at Dream Girls with an S Hair, Dream Girls Hair. Go and follow her and get you some new healthy tips and maybe even book an appointment. Until next time, I am Leslie Deans Bryant. Stay curious, stay informative, but most importantly, stay in tuned into your roots. Hair pun intended. Good night.